He's doing people just a wee second, usual. Just going to be a wee quick one tonight, just to let people know on some things that's happening. Again, just to remind people that there's a meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. in the last post in Paisley. Thanks to Rob and Margaret for sorting that out. So I look forward to seeing as many as there as can make it. Sorry, 2 seconds. Obviously, we said on Wednesday that we had been contacted by Eddie Bravo. The messages were coming and we were informed that somebody was going to be in contact with us in regards to making sure the connection was okay for tonight. And we have heard absolutely nothing. It has went quiet. So I can only assume that something terrible has happened or something's come up or whatever. Don't really know. People can make it what they will, but that's just the way it is. It's not going to stop us from applauding on. Right, so I don't know if Gav's maybe going to jump in for a wee quick. What is this in the chat? Super Shill Nachos. Why do you keep posting 6? Let them post something on it. Why do you keep posting 6? What the fuck is that about? Is that your proof that you live on a fucking nature-defying testicle? A number 6? Is that it? Oh, just bear with me. I'll come back to that in a minute. Is this clown still in the Nicholas Cabals? See, anybody listening, we have Globe disciples, these people who are part of this religious cult and control structure, who come to the chat box. They know this is an open platform. They've been offered many, many times to provide proof that we do indeed live on a nature-defying fucking testicle. But unfortunately for these, bewildered, lost souls, people like us know that it's not a nature-defying testicle and never will be. So they have absolutely nothing to offer us but spamming the chat with the number 6. Well, hang on. Gav, I don't know if you're listening. Are you going to jump in quick or saying that we've had an email asking what the Skype names are? So I'm not sure if this is going to be happening or not. Just bear with us, people, till we find out. Hello, everybody in the chat. Who we got here? Anders Ace, Linny, Leon H, Moonchaser. Have you seen the Principal documentary? I think I have. FPV Angel, Jamie Brown, how you doing? The Seattle Green, Grasshopper 78, Marlon Wisby, Sarah Calder, how are you? Nah, Sarah, I've not got our hands full. It's silly, insignificant. It's probably bots. I think they're running out of personnel now. They don't have enough morons who are willing to embarrass themselves by representing a fucking cartoon. So they're resorting to these clowns who the only intellect they have is to press the number 6. I think they must have went through 3 weeks of intense schooling to memorise and remember the number 6 button, because that's all they have, apparently. Let me view deleted message. What's this clown saying? Mum's ass smells better than his rotting eyeball. I mean, they've not even got decent patter. No patter whatsoever. No imagination. Nothing. David Giles, how are you? Red Machine, Kieran, Maggie M, Johnny Brandon, Aaron's playing Truth. All is one now. Well, all you can do. Oh, how you doing, Gav? You all right, bud?
Yeah, I'm good. Hi, Marshall.
Hi, Gav. How you doing, Marshall? I just noticed he's well there. So, you got an email there, Gav, aye?
I just like 2 minutes ago. So, asking for our Skype names.
Cool.
I don't know how you want to play that. Will we just continue and then, or I'll mail them and we'll go on after this?
Aye, go for it. You know my Skype name there, isn't it?
Aye. Okay, I'll just do that. Let me just jump off and do that first, and I'll be back.
Well, people, as I say, we'll not be on long, because if this is going to happen, I think it was supposed to happen at about 9 p.m. Our time here. So we'll just have a wee arse about in the chat, laugh at the Globe, ridicule it a wee bit, laugh at these morons who keep trying to represent a fucking cartoon bit of plastic. So again, if anybody's interested, there's a meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. in the last post in Paisley. It'd be great to see you there. I'm looking forward to having a chat and meeting up. Godbusters, I see you commenting my videos. You're an absolute fucking clown with absolutely nothing to offer. How goes the flat earth research? Coming along nicely, getting some results, are we? What are you talking about? Elaborate, Godbusters. How about focusing on the claim that we were all born into, which was as a fucking idiotic cartoon that we live on? What about that? What you got to say about that? Some proof, maybe, other than an image and some long-winded fucking drivel? How's the reality denying going? Still denying nature? Still denying the objective world that you're living in? That's not going to hold up too well for you. It's not going to last very long. Joshua Lanuzzi, love listening to you, bro. Observe the water. That's a true fact level play, and it certainly is. I stopped yesterday. It was funny. I'm gathering a couple of wee bits and bobs on video. I seen there's a building site going on in the corner, and I had stopped a couple of boys who are walking with spirit levels. They were obviously brickies. And I says to them, I make some videos and stuff. They were a wee bit reluctant. I says, well, I'm not filming you right now, but I'll have a wee discussion. And we were looking at the foundations that had been laid, and I think they'd 3 or 4 bricks high. So I put it to them. I says, what would happen if I was to fill that with water? Would that let me know if it was level? And of course, the 2 brickies turn around and say, yeah, of course. Say, what if I made it bigger? He says, that would still be the same. What if I made it 3, 4, 5 miles? That would still be the same. I says, why? Oh, well, water always finds its level. I said to them, well, what if I made it 100 miles long and I started to bend the sides of the foundations down a wee bit? What would happen? Would the water show the bend, or would it just fall flat and, keep pushing outwards? Of course, it would fall flat and keep pushing outwards. So that would happen no matter how big we made these foundations. That would not matter a jot. And then my next question to them was, so do you believe you live in a globe? And to my surprise, the main journeyman turned around and says, no, of course not. And I was dumbfounded. I had nothing to say to him. So it turns out that these guys are aware of this ongoing investigation as well, and we have more layman people involved in everyday practicality who realise the absolute absurdity of the globe and its nonsense claims that it makes. And again, water being the primary proof, water being the best measuring tool that anybody has. Anybody with any ounce of practicality or skill in any practical walk of life would know these things. That's why we don't get any people like that coming here. We only get morons, weak-minded, insecure, needy disciples of a cult religion. Right? People who want to deny reality. David Holsworth, it was brilliant, David. Again, it's another, a testament, measurement to see how far this is reaching. I mean, you speak to random people like that again, who use these things practically every day. It astounds you that their common sense just kicks in. As I say, I had nothing to say to him. Godbusters, what is it? Low Earth orbit? What's low Earth orbit? What are you talking about, you muppet? Low Earth orbit? Would you mean flying in the sky? Flying in the sky, is this your fancy words? Low Earth orbit? This your NASA language? No, it's flying in the sky, moving through the pressurized gaseous environment that we live in. What's your low Earth orbit? Nonsense, that's Star Trek, Star Wars, gobbledygook talk. We're no into fantasy, my man. Meryl, how you doing? Tanya, Dale has a solidarity, strength, determination of a real truth warrior. You're right, Tanya. I ain't going anywhere, We're going to need to try hard to get rid of me. As I say, they could offer me a castle with my own fucking army, ruling over my own people. Still not going to matter. You're welcome, Tanya. So as I say, I've not really got anything planned for the night. I was just going to address this, these meet-up things and, this supposed live that was to be happening. But it looks as if we're having some emails coming. Godbusters, never mind he's a warrior for ignorance and your atom fucking bollocks. I can sit and call you much better names and rip the piss out of you much better. How about you bring some actual proof or something, or if something articulate to say, Focus on the content. Focus on the question. Gav, you're back.
Yeah, I sent the guys an email with our handles. Put you guys in CC, you as well, Marshall. So see what comes back.
Cool. Well, as I say, I think it was supposed to be 9 p.m. our time. Will be 10 for you. So if we have to scoot off to see if the connections are working okay, then so be it. I will just wrap up whenever we hear back from them. Yeah?
Yep, fair enough. They'll need to hit us up with a contact request on Skype anyway. So
what's been happening, mate?
Not much, to be honest. A kind of busy day in corporate hell, but it's weekend, so I'm sure I'm not the only one that looks forward to a Saturday. Sorry?
I was just going to say, when the chains of control are released for 48 hours.
There's one wee thing I just wanted to address when the last hangout we had. I think I mentioned that this argument from Illusion, that they're trying awful hard trying awful hard. They can't try hard enough, if you ask me. But they're trying to, show some kind of fallacy and common sense. And I thought it might make sense just to show people a little bit about this argument from Illusion.
Sure.
So if you want, I'll just share my screen and we can flick through it.
I'll just click on you so that you are presenting.
All right. Good. So everybody can see that.
Yeah.
You see that okay?
No problem.
It's just a Wikipedia page, but and the context is that, people are saying, common sense, you can't rely on common sense, and optical illusions are the best example. You can't always trust what you see. So I thought I'd just go through this just very briefly so that we can see basically what their argument is. So the argument that they bring is basically for the existence of some kind of sense data. And I've talked about this before, this idea that representational realism posits some kind of third thing. So instead of you experiencing reality directly, you've got some kind of mental image and that's all you can really hope to know about. You can't have direct experience of your outside world because, it's all playing inside your head. Now, that for me is, a fallacy. I don't believe in representative realism, and I don't think anybody should. And that's posed as a criticism of direct realism. And before I dive into what their example is, just maybe very briefly what direct realism here. They try and couch it under the name naive realism to give it a bit of a stigma, I think, as if we are all naive people. But basically what it's saying is that objects obey the laws of physics and retain all their properties, whether or not there is anyone to observe them or not. So we're talking about physical substance. And direct realism is in, contradiction to, or not, but, against any forms of idealism or forms of skepticism. So, skepticism is basically we can never know anything. And, basically the exact opposite, right? So there's actually a couple of nice wee things here. There's a little bit for people who don't know what direct realism is. It's kind of said here in 5 statements. I'm not going to read them out. People can maybe go to that, but I just wanted to show what there's a page for direct realism, which is under the heading naive realism, unfortunately. But to go back to the arguments from illusion, so what they usually try to bring is these naturally occurring illusions. And one of them is the typical bent stick in water, right? That, when you see a bent stick in the water, then that can't be right because we all know the stick is straight, so that your senses are playing tricks on you, and cannot be trusted. Now, that for me is a very bad argument because what they're basically trying to say is that the exact opposite of what is true, namely that your senses are actually showing you that there's something else involved. Because if you were to look at a stick normally, of course you would see it straight and it would be tangibly straight. But the very fact that you're seeing it bent is your eye basically telling you that there's something else involved, in this case, water, right? So your senses are actually being extremely clever in that they're showing you something that is different from the normal environment you work in, and that, that it's actually showing you very clearly that there's something else going on, right? And I think that's, just they try and flip it on their head and say, because you're seeing it differently, it's some kind of illusion and you can't trust it. But it's actually, for me, proving the exact opposite. Your senses are signalizing to you the fact that something has changed in your environment and you're not seeing that stick straight anymore, i.e. there's water in the way. So it's completely wrong to talk about a fallacy of the senses, right? We've said this before that, when you view something, then you've got a material impression on your retina by light. It's hitting you, it's hitting your physical substance. So it's a real material impression and it's not some kind of illusion. It's very real, and your eyes are basically giving you all the sense data or all the senses that you need, and that you're actually, it's showing you that there's something else involved. So there's no fallacy about it at all. In fact, it's a very clever mechanism. But they like to try and twist it and make it seem as if, that's some kind of problem and we shouldn't trust our senses. But I see it exactly opposite.
Again, that example they're giving is based on just visual alone. They're not getting into the fact that, we can assess and we can, reveal that the stick is in fact in water. The water is having an effect on, what is happening to the stick in regards to your, vision of it. I mean, for me, it's just all nonsense. I mean, if you get right back to the basics, it's like saying, a child, any newborn mind, doesn't have to have any idea of the world or any knowledge about the world or, any input whatsoever, but yet it's still going to be subject to definite physical forms. If a newborn mind, whether it be an animal or a human being, is involved in any kind of accident, then it's going to be subject to, the natural world, the objective reality,
Absolutely.
It's nonsense.
Yeah, it's totally nonsense. I mean, they're basically just saying if all you had was this visible appearance, then, it would be illusory. And they also talk here about mental images and mental representations. And as I say, there's nothing wrong with our fallacies. The laws of physics don't change from 1 minute to the other. There's the physiology of your eye doesn't change from 1 minute to the other. What does change is our interpretation of what we're seeing, and that's where they brainwash us and mind bend us into thinking stuff. Yeah, but there is no fallacy in the senses. They are accurately reporting what is there, and they're giving you all the visual cues that you need to understand that there's some other thing involved. Yeah, in this case, water. So I just wanted to point that out, just because it's always brought up as some kind of argument, you know.
Yeah. As I say, you can refute it quite simply, this bollocks. Again, it harks back to this whole materialistic fucking stance that reality's abstract. You'll never understand it. It's not really what it appears to be. It's your mind that makes it up and blah, blah, blah. If you're not looking at it, it's not there, and get to fuck. You know, it's just total nonsense. And I get myself wrapped up with that stuff for a few years, you know, giving it more credence and attention than I actually deserved. It's total nonsense. But again, I think people, especially in kind of spirituality, it seemed to appeal to people, you know, this whole bewilderment. And it was quite a nice idea that reality is such a harsh and horrible place that, you know, people were going, oh, it's just the matrix in your mind. It's not really there. You know, I'm not really subject to it. If I change my thinking, it means I can walk through walls and bullets will not penetrate my skull. And I mean, I want to fuck people, you know? But it just seemed like a nice idea for people, and movies like The Matrix and all these kind of ideas seem to, you know, establish that and get it even more deep-rooted into people. But it's total nonsense, and simple observations and simple examples can show you that, you know?
Yep. No, absolutely. Just nonsense. Remember, we actually looked at there's actually a defence case, the Matrix illusion. You can actually defend yourself in a court of law by saying that you thought you were living in the Matrix, and they'll put you in a mental institution rather than in jail. You know, people have actually got away with that. Similar to the Chewbacca defence.
Reality's not really there, so when I shot that person, I didn't think they were really dead, because they're not real anyway.
Exactly, right. Total nonsense.
I got a friend request there. I don't know if you received the same.
Yeah, I did too. I just accepted one, so it looks as if something's moving across the pond. Yeah,
the level pond.
The level pond. Absolutely.
Marshall, no, I don't think we're going to have any guests. I'm going to save that for tomorrow. It was really just to kind of update people on the meeting thing for tomorrow, and in regards to this live event that was supposed to be happening. It was just to say to people that, you know, we thought it wasn't going to go anywhere, but we're receiving some comms at this very minute. So I don't know if we're going to have to go just to check connections and stuff and see what the sketch is for 9 o'clock, if that's still going to be the time. So can you hear us, Marshall? Are you there?
Sorry, dude. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I was just dealing with something else. Yeah, cool. I just, there's a few people that were obviously left out of the loop last time due to technical issues or whatever, and they've mailed back and asked whether we're open this evening. So that's just cleared it all up. But I mean, for tomorrow evening, it is people's platform, and we're open to all comers.
Yeah, we're back to normal for tomorrow night. So we'll be open pretty much right away. And if anybody missed it in the last couple, then they're welcome to come and join then. So. Sorry, I'm just checking something here. Hold on. Right, we're getting a message saying here about wanting to connect and test. So I think we maybe just wrap this up here, Gav, and we'll go and deal with this.
Aye, sounds like the best thing. Right.
As I say, people, I'm not even sure where this is going to be broadcast live. I really don't know if kind of little communication in regards to any of that. So if I get a chance, we'll get this done. And if you look out for it, I'll maybe just fire up a wee quick minute just to let people know if it's going to be live, where it's going to be happening. Failing that, you know, I don't know if it's just going to be a recorded thing and then uploaded at a later time. I really don't know. So we'll keep you posted. And failing that, I'll see everybody there that's going tomorrow. And obviously tomorrow night we'll be back on at 7:30. So send your emails to nocurve@gmx.com if you want to come in and join us tomorrow night. I'm sure, Gav, I think you're going to join tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, I did intend on. Yep.
Right, nice one. Right, cool people. Well, if we're on live at 9 o'clock and it's being broadcast, I'll let you know. So I'll see you there. If feeling that, I'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy.
Right.
Cheers.
See you everybody. Bye.